threw his arms wide and his head back and laughed, filling the room with a sound that scarcely belonged there. Then it stopped. His arms came down and his head dropped to look straight ahead at Junpei. Aw, shit. His face was flat and cold, devoid of any emotion. Well done, Junpei. As you so correctly deduced, I have the number 9 bracelet. I retrieved it while we were searching for the missing hardware for the red. I left the room I was supposed to search and head to the first class cabin on B deck. His voice showed no emotion, no sense of remorse or interest. It was almost bored, as though he were reciting an especially dull corporate letter. My purpose was to obtain the number 9 bracelet. 9 is a potent ally in the nonary game. Adding 9 to any set of numbers won't alter the digital root. Oh yeah, he's very much right. As you can see, 9 is a very useful number here. With it, one can go anywhere, with anyone. So I made for the first class cabin to obtain it. Ace successfully acquired the number 9 bracelet. He also found an unexpected bonus, the knife the 9th man has been holding. We made the connection that was the knife that killed us, didn't we? He slipped both of them into his chest pocket and left as quickly as he'd come. So he also killed Clover. He walked down the stairs and headed back to where he was supposed to be. That was when he met Guy X and mistook him for Snake. Snake was on his way to a large hospital room and had not noticed Ace behind him. Ace made sure it stayed that way. He followed the man wearing Snake's clothes to door 3. When the man stopped, he walked up behind him quietly and called out, "Snake." The man turned to look at Ace. He said nothing. No words came out of his half-open mouth. He seemed dazed somehow, almost like half a man asleep. Perhaps he had been drugged. It didn't matter to Ace. Ace was certain the man was Snake. He knew Snake had been a part of the nonary game 9 years before. Snake hadn't recognized Ace immediately, but he was blind. That much it made sense. Why then hadn't Snake said anything to him? Surely he hadn't forgotten what had happened to him in the nonary game. But not once had he attempted to confront Ace. Perhaps his lack of sight had prevented him from recognizing Ace. Or perhaps Snake had conspired with Zero to deceive Ace. In either event, it was a threat, and it was better to deal with him sooner rather than later. Ace's mind was made up. He moved. He held the number 9 bracelet over the red. He waved his own bracelet in front of the red and finally grabbed Snake's arm and shoved him inside against a scanner panel. The door opened. Ace threw the man through it. 9 seconds later, the door shut. 81 seconds passed. The man inside the door passed away. After that, I returned to my post as though nothing had happened. After conducting my own search, I returned to a large hospital room when the 1 AM bell rang. Of course you did. Ace's eyes were cold and his cheeks were hollow and pallid. When he spoke, only his lips and tongue moved. The rest of his face was eerily still. Junpei glared at Ace. He took a deep breath and thought about the next question he had to ask. He didn't want to. He knew what the answer would be. He just didn't want to hear it. Junpei swallowed and spoke. Ace, did you kill Clover? Yes. Why? Why did you kill her? She was Snake's sister. It was possible he had told her something dangerous. Additionally, she had gone through door 1. It seemed likely she might have found it. Found what? Why don't you go through door 1 yourself? Perhaps it's hidden somewhere. Seven and Lotus interrupted. Yeah, but Lotus and I went through door 1 too. We didn't see anything suspicious. Yes, I thought as much after I heard your report at the central stairs. I doubt the two of you could find it. But perhaps Clover was different. Perhaps she had found it. I was therefore desperate to find her, and at last I did, in the first class cabin. I spoke very calmly. Did you see it? See what? Don't act as if you don't understand. You were in the captain's quarters, weren't you? Huh? What are you talking about? Very well. By the way, what are you doing here, Clover? What? Nothing. There's blood on your shoes. It looks fresh. Did you go take a look at the ninth man's corpse? I see. Your silence suggests that you noticed. You saw something, didn't you? You saw that his bracelet was gone. Clover ran. She made for the exit, but Ace stood in her way. You aren't going anywhere. He caught her by the collar as she passed and threw her to the floor hard. She leapt back up and darted past him into the hallway. Ace followed at a run. He was faster. Poor Clover. That was how I killed Clover. His face hadn't changed. But something's still not adding up. If he felt guilt or remorse, or anything one might feel after taking the life of another human being, it didn't show. You son of a bitch. Seven's whole body trembled with rage, and his voice rumbled with hate. Santa's eyes were bloodthirsty, and Lotus and June's faces were distorted by anger and hatred. Ace looked at him and smiled. It was a cold, cruel thing with no humor in it. He shook his head and sighed. I admit it. I've lost. I have lost completely and utterly. But don't misunderstand, Junpei. I didn't lose to you. I lost to Zero, not you. I'm rather disgusted with myself for falling into such a simple trap. And it was a trap, make no mistake. I was trapped and manipulated by Zero. The man I killed in the shower room, if he wasn't Snake, then I have no idea who he was. But he was wearing Snake's clothes, and that was no coincidence. He had also been injected with something that reduced his cognition and prevented him from identifying himself or resisting me. And we can't forget the components that were removed from the red before we arrived. I had no doubt that Zero planned all of this. Zero made sure I would kill that man. I wonder if he killed one of his his pharmaceutical colleagues. It follows, of course, that Zero knew everything I would do. That I would try to take the number 9 bracelet. That I would try to kill Snake. Everything. Suddenly, Junpei remembered the paper he found in the safe. He remembered the last words Zero had written on it. I must punish them. For the innocent lives they sacrificed. This is the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls might be saved, I now state the truth. Zero. And he remembered other words he'd heard from Clover. I think Zero is one of us. One by one, Junpei looked at the 5 people standing in front of him. Ace, Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus. Zero is one of us. No, Junpei paused. There was one more person. Snake. It was clear now that the man who died in the shower room was not Snake. That meant that Snake was almost certainly still alive. Perhaps Snake was Zero. Perhaps Snake had made Gaiax wear his clothes, so he would appear to be dead. Where was Snake now? Perhaps he was somewhere laughing at me. If he was Zero, surely he had lied about many other things. Was he watching them? Well, I believe I finished with my confession. Why don't we get moving? He sounded as if he'd just finished doing nothing more exciting than describing the weather. For Santa, it was the last straw. What the hell is this shit? You aren't going anywhere, you son of a bitch. We're gonna leave your ass here to rot. Why? Because I killed Clover? It's ridiculous. Why are you so upset that I killed the little bitch? She was nothing to you. A stranger. You only met a few hours ago. Am I wrong? You bastard. Seven roared and lifted a fist that would likely have shattered Ace's jaw, but someone was much faster. It was Lotus. She stepped toward Ace, raised a fist of her own, and drove it straight into his nose. Huh. Got some fire, don't you? I confess I rather like a tough woman. He sniffed and wiped a small trickle of blood from his nose with a raised eyebrow. Well, maybe you'd like another one then. Before that, let me give you one of my own. Huh? Lotus scarcely had time to blink. Ace snaked his arms around her and pulled Lotus's back up against him. In the same motion, he reached into his coat pocket. He's got the gun! The revolver. Almost lazily, he tilted it to point at Lotus's head. If any of you so much as blink, I won't hesitate to pull this trigger. I've already killed 3 people. Don't think I'm not ready to make it 4. Three people? What do you mean? Huh. Very well. I'm gonna take this opportunity to illuminate you. The person who killed the 9th man was me. Although I suppose to be more accurate, I encouraged him to get himself killed. While we were examining the main staircase, he came to me and told me his name. I recognized it at once. So I gave him a little push. Just a little white lie. It seems the sentence for the dead were altered. Now it only requires a single person to deactivate the detonator in the bracelet. Investigate what's beyond door 5. We'll meet again later. Okay, have a good one, guys. I'm going off ahead now. Well then. Shit. Why isn't it stopping? God damn it. You lied. Open the door, please. I'm begging you. We all know what happens to this guy. So he purposely killed this guy to retrieve his bracelet, as it's a powerful tool. It was him, he killed me, it was him. I had 4 reasons for killing him. 1. As I said before, in a non-re game, the number 9 bracelet is of utmost importance. If I'd allowed him to keep such a useful tool, he or it would have become a threat to me. As such, I decided that he should be eliminated early on. 2. I wanted the number 9 bracelet. If I could manage to obtain it, I would be able to manipulate the game as I saw fit. I'd be unable to acquire the bracelet unless its owner was dead. 3. Even setting aside his number, he would have been nothing but trouble for me. He was aware of my past. He knew what happened these 9 years ago. It was important that I eliminate him before he was able to disseminate this information. 4. Lastly, I wish to conduct a simple test. A test to see if this non-re game was serious, or a poor attempt at a joke. I needed to be quite sure. As such, I encouraged him to act against the rules so that I might observe the outcome. Junpei glared at him. I don't get your third motive. What the hell happened 9 years ago? Didn't I say? The non-re game was played. I planned it out and I conducted its execution. Why? What on earth was it supposed to do? I don't really think I have any obligation to tell you that. Ace smirked. He was trying to provoke them, and it was working. Although Ace had paid very little attention to Lotus after catching her, the gun had never wavered from her temple. She looked quite pale, and when she spoke, her voice shook. What's with this gun? Where did he get this? Well, why don't you tell us, Santa? Santa ground his teeth and glared at Ace. On the other side of door 6. We found the gun in the coffin in the cargo room, right? The bastard must have grabbed it when we weren't looking. Indeed I did. That was a pretty serious mistake, you know? Just saying you intended to leave it behind? That was a pretty stupid thing to do, wasn't it? Ace laughed, a short, depressive snort. He gave Junpei a sickeningly pitying look. Well, there isn't much time left. I'll be off then. Where are you going? Do I really need to explain? I'd assumed it'd be obvious. I have the number 9 bracelet. And now I have Lotus. 9 plus 8 plus 1 equals 18. Wasn't there a door with 9 on it in the room that was locked like a church? That looked like a church? That's where you're going, isn't it? And how do you know that? Santa told me about it while we were looking for Clover. I see. Well, you are correct. That is my destination. But now I must say goodbye to all of you. And please don't forget my warning. Move and I'll pull the trigger. Oh, pull the trigger and you're gonna kill your exit out of here, man. I mean, not really a smart thing to do. I don't need her alive to open the door. Well, yeah, that's true. Still. As he spoke, Ace began backing toward the door, practically dragging Lotus behind him. Junpei, Santa, and June and Seven stood frozen. Ace had the face of a man gone mad. They had no doubt he would pull the trigger. Ace had reached the exit. He forced Lotus to open it, then turned and addressed him once more. Goodbye. Then he stepped through the door. It fell shut. In the blink of an eye, they were gone. As soon as Ace and Lotus were gone, Junpei and the others leapt through the door in pursuit of Ace. But as Junpei laid his hand on the doorknob, there was a noise behind him. June, I swear, if you're on your tits again, this ain't the time. This really ain't the time. He looked over his shoulder. Damn it. June was kneeling on the floor, breathing heavily. Hey, June, what happened? Are you alright? Santa ran to June and wrapped his arm around her before she could collapse all the way. Jesus, you're burning up. Your fever's back. Are you okay? June's fever had returned, again for no apparent reason. Her eyes were watery and her eyelids drooped. Her breath came in dry, shallow gasps. Man, my throat's getting dry. I'm okay. Really, I'm fine. You should be worrying about Lotus. She was breathing hard now, and she could barely summon her strength to talk. Junpei was torn. He couldn't leave June alone in the state she was in. But every moment they waited, Ace was farther away, Lotus's life in his hands. What was Junpei supposed to do? June's eyes drifted to Junpei's. She managed to muster a weak smile. Junpei, don't worry about me. I just need a little rest. I'll be fine. Don't you remember? I just needed to rest a little bit last time. So please save Lotus. Think about what Ace has already done, Junpei. When he's got what he needs from Lotus, you really think he's gonna let her just walk away? God damn it. You guys go on ahead. As soon as June starts feeling better, we'll follow you. Go. Junpei looked at June. She nodded once. She couldn't manage much more. But it was all the confirmation Junpei needed. His resolve was set. Alright. Come on, Seven, we're going after Ace. Hey, yeah. Santa, you take good care of June. I'm trusting you. Santa nodded. Junpei turned before he had a chance to change his mind and started running toward the door. You could hear Seven's heavy footsteps behind him. Let's go. Junpei and Seven exploded into the hallway, their feet pounding the metal as they ran. I need a piss so bad. Junpei and Seven had finally arrived at the church, exhausted and out of breath. As their lungs struggled to catch their breath, their eyes fell, frantically scanned the room. No sign of Ace or Lotus. You think they already went through? He reached up to wipe a palm full of sweat from his brow. Maybe. Even as he spoke, Junpei was already on his way to the large room with number 9 doors. He looked at the red. The display panel read vacant. He spun around and headed toward the smaller door. The red would tell him if Ace and Lotus moved to another room. They're in here. Engaged. It's occupied. That means Ace and Lotus went through here. Yeah, it seems like it. Junpei and Seven stepped away from the door. They retreated to the centered room and began to talk. What do we do now? Yeah, what should we do? Well, the big door's still vacant, but the two of us can't do anything with it. Yeah. First of all, our district route is not 9. Just then, as they were pondering what to do next. No, I really don't like that. There was a noise. A noise like someone hitting a thick wooden panel. Junpei looked up, surprised. Seven followed suit, his eyes jumping around the room, looking for the source of the sound. It wasn't long before they found the altar. Or more precisely, what was on it. The coffin. Yeah. Let's open it. How? By force. I don't think that's gonna happen. Well, you never know until you try, right? The only necessity for success is the willingness to suffer 1,000 failures. Who said that? I forget. Anyway, we've got to try. Junpei and Seven left at the coffin. They grabbed hold of what purchase they could find and pulled. Damn it. See, didn't I tell you? If you could just pull it open, why would it have something like that? Seven pointed at a keypad on the side of the coffin. Right, so unless I put in the right passcode, it's not gonna happen. Oh my god. The noise hadn't stopped. In fact, as it continued, it only gotten louder and more forceful. What are they supposed to do? Junpei wondered. Was there some sort of clue somewhere? No. They stood there for a few moments staring at the coffin, and then Seven spoke. Hey Junpei, I remember you mumbling about some weird numbers over by the bathroom in the first class cabin. You got those numbers by solving a secret message Clover was holding, right? Truth had gone, or something like that. Yeah, that's right. What about it? Maybe the number's the passcode for this thing too. Come on, that's impossible. Those numbers were the code to unlock the safe. Yeah, but the person who set up that safe in this coffin is the same person, right? Zero set up both of these. Yeah, probably. But then they might have set the same passcode for both of them. That's ridiculous. Why don't you just try it? I mean, it's not like you'll make things any worse. It'd just be a waste of time. There's no way there's the same number. How'd you know that? You never know until you try. The only necessity for success is willingness to several thousand failures. Who said that? You. Stop it! Stop it, Alice! Just stop it! Fine. He knelt down in front of the keypad and looked at it. Perhaps because he repeated them so many times before, the numbers came easily to Junpei's mind. Quickly, he typed them in. I wonder if it is this Alice mummy in there. But if so, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck? She's meant to be dead. He checked that he entered the right numbers, took a deep breath, and pushed the E button. It only took a moment. What? You've gotta be kidding me. There was a click. No way, no fucking way, no fucking way! With a heavy clunk, the lid of the coffin slid off onto the floor. Someone sat up